With the release of Cloverfield, many people are talking about giant movie monsters again, and new generations are being introduced to the genre. So let's take a look at some of the most memorable monsters in the history of cinema. Run for your life, it's Top 10 Giant Movie Monsters. For number 10, from South Korea, we have The Host. It's a strange and unpredictable film, but it's pretty original as far as recent monster movies go. It's like a weird killer tadpole or something. I don't really know how to describe it, but just take a look. Number 9, from Clash of the Titans, we have The Kraken, created by special effects pioneer Ray Harryhausen. Here is when the art of stop-motion photography was perfected. Now, there's plenty of Harryhausen monsters to choose from. From Mighty Joe Young to Jason and the Argonauts, he's created many of the most memorable monsters of all time. Now, the Kraken doesn't look anything like the traditional Kraken of Greek mythology, but I saw this as a child, and it's a spectacle I'll never forget. Number 8, the Brontosaurus from The Lost World, based on the novel. No, not the sequel to Jurassic Park by Michael Crichton, but The Lost World by Arthur Conan Doyle. The stop-motion effects were done by Willis O'Brien, the great-grandfather of this genre. Back in 1925, audiences hadn't seen anything like this, so it was a bold new craft back then. In the final scene, they capture the Brontosaurus and take it back to civilization, where it goes on a rampage through London. Number 7, without a doubt, Reptilicus. Yeah, the only Danish monster to make the list. Actually, probably the only Danish monster ever. Reptilicus isn't stop motion or a guy in a rubber suit, it's a puppet. You don't get more awesome than that. The monster makes the list just because of its name. Reptilicus. Just say it. Reptilicus. Oh, watch, here comes the green shit. Oh, not the green shit. Supposedly, there's a deleted scene where Reptilicus flies. Now, why was it cut? Because it was unrealistic. Yeah, of course, but everything else is fine. Number 6, I couldn't resist. A monster created in someone's mind. Thanks, Ray.
It's the Stay Puft Marshmallow Man.
Maybe he's not a monster, maybe he's just a cute, lovable mascot from a bag of marshmallows, but now he's one big, badass mammoth of destruction.
Nobody steps on a church in my town!
Number 5, one more from Harryhausen, but this is one of his earlier works, The Beast from 20,000 Fathoms, a milestone in motion picture extravaganza. This was the beginning of the 50s, and what followed was a whole genre of giant monster movies. Lost World was the first, but this is the one that really started it all. Number 4, who else but the invincible, the friend of all children, the guardian of the universe.
Gamera! Gamera!
Oh yeah, it's goddamn Gamera. If you haven't heard of Gamera, well, here's what you're missing. A turtle with fangs that shoots rocket jets at its shell. He can fly, he can spin, he can win an Olympic gold medal. He's fought monsters that shoot rainbows, a monster with a giant saw on his head, and countless other creatures too weird to describe or even pronounce their names. Between 1965 and 2006, Gamera has starred in 12 movies. You haven't lived until you've seen Gamera. Number 3, from Tokyo, Japan, weighing 22,000 tons, standing 164 feet tall, the legendary heavyweight king of the monsters, Godzilla. Oh, and if you go by the English dub of the first movie, he's over 400 feet tall. Godzilla needs no introduction. From the beginning, he was a symbol of the horrors of nuclear warfare from a country that experienced it firsthand. But he's also saved the world from other monsters, usually from outer space, including Ghidorah, Gigan, and Mechagodzilla. Some of the monsters he's fought will become allies, such as Rodan and Mothra. Honestly, I could have filled this entire list with monsters from the Godzilla series, but that would have been too easy. Godzilla's been a good guy, a bad guy, a father, and an environmentalist. Between 1954 and 2004, he starred in 28 movies, and that doesn't count the 1998 shit-stained American remake. In the last movie, Godzilla Final Wars, the real Godzilla actually fights the fake one, and he annihilates that bastard. You don't mess with atomic breath. Number 2, again, needs no introduction. After The Lost World, Willis O'Brien put his stop-motion special effects to the ultimate test, and the result was the 8th wonder of the world, King Kong. The original 1933 classic has inspired countless filmmakers from Ray Harryhausen to Peter Jackson. I saw it on TV when I was very young, and it blew my mind. Everything about it is fun to watch, and despite Kong's monstrous quality, he has a curious and sympathetic nature. Only one sequel was made, Son of Kong, but he was later brought back in a rubber suit in King Kong vs. Godzilla, then in King Kong Escapes, where he fights Robot Kong. A lousy remake followed in 1976, along with an atrocious sequel, King Kong Lives. But it was finally remade in 2005 in a respectable and well-executed manner by Peter Jackson. But none will disagree that there really is only one King Kong movie, and not only is it a great monster mash, it's one of the all-time classics of American cinema. Seriously, one of the best movies ever made, for its time and for all time. Okay, now you're probably wondering what could possibly top King Kong and Godzilla. Well, are you ready for number one? Hang on tight, get ready to shit your pants. Here comes the most terrifying, most spectacular, most amazing monster to ever grace the silver screen. Behold, I present the giant claw. Now that's what you call a monster. You don't fuck with the giant claw. And when trying to describe it, I can't even think of anything to compare it to, except maybe a battleship.
But something as big as a battleship.
Like we're hitting a battleship with a slingshot.
A bird as big as a battleship.
Big as a battleship.
Flying battleship. Flying battleship. Flying battleship.
Flying battleship. Flying battleship.
Flying battleship.
Yes, that's exactly what it reminds me of. A battleship. Number one giant movie monster, the giant claw.